Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So morning we discussed a very important topic, that is finding dual of the graph for a planar graph, and we also discussed what is a self-dual graph. Okay, so self-dual graph means you just find out the dual and see whether dual is isomorphic to the original graph or not. Okay, this is in fact, you can try this. This is an example of a self-dual graph. You can also refer page number you can refer there are 4 exercise questions, page number 29. You have 4 questions. Question number 9. You have A, B, C, D. This is the question number A. Okay, you can try 3 more also. Now let's go to next topic. Euler's formula. Euler's formula specifically for connected planar graph. Euler's formula for connected planar graph. So what is this formula? Let us discuss. So it tells very simple formula. If G is a connected planar graph, if G is a connected then mod V minus mod E plus mod R always equivalent to 2. So this is the Euler's formula for the connected planar graph. So what do you mean by this? What is mod V? The graph, and mod E is what is mod E? Edges, and mod R is the number of regions. So sometimes the question will be something like this. And they'll ask you to apply for Euler's formula and Euler's formula on the simple question. Apply this formula and verify whether that is tallying. Of course, it is proved long back, but for example, let us take this planar graph. Okay. How many vertices are there? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many vertices are there in this? How many vertices are there in this graph?
5 vertices.
How many edges are there?
4, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And how many regions are there?
3.
So that is the formula. Okay. So in any connected planar graph, mod V minus mod E plus mod R. This quantity should be always 2. Okay. So 5 minus 6 plus 3. This is 2, right? So this is a Euler's formula for a connected planar graph. Okay. Now we'll go for our next topic. Multi-graphs and Euler circuits. Multi-graphs and Euler circuits. So for this, one interesting story is there. Let me explain that. So there is in one foreign country, there is an area called Königsberg. Okay, Königsberg. And in that they constructed some bridges. Okay, and this problem is called Königsberg bridges problem. So I want every one of you to listen carefully. Okay, so the bridge problem is something like this. So they have actually 2 islands, something like this. This is one island, and this is another island. Okay, and this complete thing is a water. Okay, this complete thing is a water. And in water, you have 2 islands. They have 2 islands. And this is one bank of the river. This is another bank of the river. And they constructed bridges, something like this. One bridge like this, from this island to this. And they constructed 2 from here, like this. Similarly, 2 bridges like this, from this bank to this island. Let's say this is island A. Let's call this island A. And this, let's call this is D. Okay, and they constructed this island, second island also, one bridge. Then one bridge like this, another bridge like this. Okay, so, and of course, these 2 are the banks of the rivers. Okay, let's call this as C, this as B. Okay, so if you see, there are 4 land areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they constructed bridges, something like this. In fact, it is a old story existing. It's a fact. It's not a created one. So this problem is also called as, of course, this is around 1700 story we are talking. 1700. It's a great mathematics problem during that time. So the puzzle is here. The people during that time used to think, is there any way such that starting from any land area, here land areas are A, B, C, D, starting from any land area, crossing all the bridges exactly once, and can reach to the same land area or not. So this was the puzzle people used to have in their mind during that time. What is that puzzle? Is that clear? Listen, I'll tell you. Start from any land area. Maybe you can start from A, or you can start from B, or you can start from C or D. You cross all the bridges exactly once and reach back to the same land area. That is one puzzle. The second one is, okay, if not to the same land area, starting from any land and can reach to any other land area. Basically, there are 2 puzzles. Okay. So can anyone, I'll just give 1 minute time. Can anyone tell me, is there any such possibility? So puzzle 1 and puzzle 2, 2 puzzles are there. What is puzzle 1? Starting from any land area, crossing all the bridges exactly once, and reach to the same land area. That means if I start with A, then I should again end up with A by crossing all the bridges exactly once. Puzzle 2 is a slight modification. Okay, if not the same land area, at least can I reach to any other land area or not? So puzzle 2 is starting from any land area, crossing all bridges exactly once, and reach to any other land area. So anybody answer? Do you find any such path? Anyhow, you can think later, but the answer is we don't have such path. Okay, we don't have such path. So there is no such path. And for this, Euler has given a beautiful solution during that time. Euler solution. So what Euler did is he converted this real-time problem into graph theory problem. Okay. So what he did, Euler did, he converted this problem to graph theory problem. And how he converted? By considering land areas as vertices. So land areas he considers as vertices, and bridges as edges. So there are two land areas, right? And two banks. Now you refer, there are two bridges, A to C, there are two bridges. So bridges he converted as edges. Similarly, A to B also two bridges are there, right? A, B, C. And then we have a bridge between A and D, right? So one edge between A and D. Then you have a bridge between the C and D, right? So C and D, one. And similarly, there is another bridge between B and D. Okay, so nothing great he did. Simply he converted the real-time problem into graph theory problem by considering all these land areas as vertices and the bridges as edges. Okay, now the puzzle is, instead of talking in terms of land areas and bridges, now the puzzle is something like, puzzle has become starting from any vertex, crossing all the edges exactly once, and can you reach the same vertex or not? That is your puzzle 1. Okay, now puzzle 1. So we just changed terminology, right? So puzzle 1 is what? Now starting from any vertex, crossing all the edges exactly once, and reaching the same vertex. Is there any such path or not? Path. Okay. So puzzle 1 is what? Starting starting from any vertex. Instead of land area, now we are calling as a vertex. Starting from any vertex, crossing all edges exactly once and reach to the same vertex. Okay, that is puzzle 1. And this is basically called as Euler circuit. This he has given a name as Euler circuit. Okay, and for the puzzle 2, what is puzzle 2 now? Starting from any vertex, right? Starting from any vertex, crossing all the edges exactly once and reach to any other vertex. So technically he has given a name for this as Euler path. So this puzzle 1, now we are calling as existence of Euler circuit, and puzzle 2, that complete story together we call as the existence of Euler path. Okay. So as of now, just he converted the problem, but solution he has given a very simple solution to say whether there is Euler circuit or Euler path or not. Okay, what is Euler circuit? Euler circuit means starting from any vertex, crossing all edges exactly once and reaching to the same vertex is Euler circuit. Euler path means starting from any vertex, crossing all the edges exactly once and reaching to any other vertex at least. That is Euler path. Okay. Anyhow, in the given problem, there is no solution for the puzzle 1. There is no solution for the puzzle 2. Already Euler has given a solution for it. Then simply he has given a simple statement when a multigraph contains Euler circuit. Okay. He has given a very simple and sweet statement. Okay. Solution is solution by the Euler. Okay. He said very simple. A multigraph contains Euler circuit. That means I'm talking about what? First puzzle, Euler circuit. If degree of all vertices are even. Very simple statement is given. If degree of each vertex is even, then only it contains the Euler circuit. Okay, now if we see here, what is the degree of A? Anyone please respond quickly. What is the degree of A? How many edges are there at the vertex A?
5.
5. And for B?
3.
3. B and C also 3. See, as per Euler solution, if you want a Euler circuit, then degree of each vertex must be even. Now in this case, if you see degree of each vertex is odd. So therefore, there is no such path exists. Okay. So when such path exists, such path exists only when degree of each vertex is even. Very simple solution he has given. Very simple, sweet statement. Then, okay, if it is not Euler circuit, at least when you can have Euler path. Okay. That means solution to the next second, that is Euler path. A multigraph contains Euler path if degree of each vertex must be even except two vertices. That means what? All must be even, but two vertices can have odd. Exactly, two vertices can have odd degree. Okay, in that case, there is a chance of having Euler path. But for the Euler circuit, straightforward. For the Euler circuit, all must be even. For the Euler path, all must be even. But okay, two vertices can have odd degree. So that is the reason. Now this circuit, you don't have solution to the puzzle 2 also. Starting from any vertex, crossing all the bridges exactly once, and at least reaching to any other vertex also not possible. Because here, as per the condition, all vertices must be even. Two vertices can have odd degree, but here we have four vertices having odd degree. So therefore, there is no such path existing. Okay. So this is all about Euler circuit and Euler path. This is also a very, very, very important question. Normally, though it's quite simple question, but I don't know, frequently it will be asked in the examination. They give a multi-graph. They give a multi-graph, and they'll ask you, they'll ask you to find out whether it contains a Euler circuit, Euler path or not. So let me give one question to you. Yeah, you just tell me. This is one of the exercise question. It is there in the page number 542. Now tell me whether this has Euler circuit or not, Euler path or not. Please make a note. If it has a Euler circuit, means already we assume it's a Euler path exists. Yeah, tell me. So tell me whether it has a Euler circuit or not. How we say whether Euler circuit existing or not? What is the condition?
Degree of all vertices must be even.
That's all, right? So we say there is a Euler circuit only when degree of all the vertices is even. Now tell me whether all vertices are even or not. What is the degree of A? Tell me quickly. I'll write here itself. What is the degree of A?
4.
4. B?
4.
C? Fast. C?
3.
D? D? What
4.
is the degree of
4.
E?
4.
4.
F?
4.
G?
3.
3. So tell me whether this contains Euler circuit or not.
No, sir.
So first question is Euler circuit. Since degree of all vertices are not even, so what is the conclusion? There is no Euler circuit in this. Okay. And what about Euler path?
Sir, it is a Euler.
It has Euler.
Pardon me. What about Euler path? Euler path exists or not?
Yes, it
Yes,
exists.
Yeah, exists. What is the condition for the Euler path? All vertices must be even except two vertices. That means two vertices can have odd degree. Now, if we see here, all are even, and only two vertices, that is C and G are the odd. Okay. And in this case, please make a note, except two vertices. The vertices the vertices with odd degree becomes endpoints. Please make a note. Okay, now tell me, what is that path, Euler path? It is existing, right? Now you have to tell me. What is that path? So you have to start either from the C or from the G. You cut each edge exactly once and reach to. If you start with the C, you may end with the G. Okay. So can anyone want to try? Anyone? Or I'll give you 1 minute time. Just try from your page and tell me the path.
Sir,
Yeah.
C,
Okay. 1 minute. Let me write. C.
D,
C.
D,
D. Okay. Let me cut. C D. Okay.
A,
B A. Okay. Cut. Let me cut that. Okay.
B,
B. Okay.
E,
After B.
E,
E. Okay. Then
F,
E F. Okay. Then
G,
okay. G. Then you have to cover all the edges exactly once, right?
oh, sorry. How,
So after F, instead of G, this one. Okay. Since anyhow you covered this, then let us try this FB. Okay, FB. Then this BC. Okay, then this CA. Then this EAF. Then I come here. Then it is FG. Now this cut. Then it is GE. So this edge is covered. Then ED. This edge is also covered. Then DG. See, exactly all the edges are covered exactly once. Of course, you can write many solutions. So this is one of the possible path. Okay. So this is one important area where they'll ask you to find whether there is a Euler circuit or not, Euler path or not. And Euler's formula is different. Okay. So all these things are important. Okay. So I'll give another question to you. Maybe you can take this as a homework. So whether this has Euler circuit or not, or Euler path. Okay. Tell me whether this has Euler circuit or not. This has Euler circuit or not. When a circuit contains Euler, when a graph contains Euler circuit, what is the condition?
degree of all the vertices are even.
Degree of each vertex must be even, right? Yeah, just see all are even or not. Degree of all the vertices is even or not. What is the degree of A?
4.
4.
B? C is also 4, right? D is also 4. E is also 4. F is also 4. So all vertices are having even degree, right? Therefore, this multigraph contains Euler circuit. Okay. Is it clear? And there is one more important term, at least this term you should know. If a graph contains a Euler circuit, okay, let me write this. If a graph contains Euler circuit, then the graph is called Eulerian multigraph. This is one important point. Okay, when you say graph is a Eulerian multigraph, if that the multigraph contains a Euler circuit. Okay. Suppose if it has a Euler path, if a graph contains a Euler path, let's say Euler circuit is not there, but Euler path is there, Euler path, then the graph is said to be, and the graph is said to be traversable. Okay, so this terminology is important. So if it contains Euler path, then we say that multigraph is traversable. If it contains Euler circuit, then we can call that as a Eulerian multigraph. Okay. So this is all about Euler circuit and Euler path. Then we have one more topic called Hamiltonian graphs. Let me explain to you what is this Hamiltonian graph. Hamiltonian graphs. This Hamiltonian graphs is basically comes with the traveling salesperson problem. So what is this traveling salesperson problem? So you know that this sales fellow need to visit a few areas, right? He has to plan his activity. Maybe in the morning he'll start from one area, maybe Amirpet. Then he has to visit from here. He has to visit some other place, Yaragata. Then maybe from there he has to go to Miyapur. Then Miyapur, Gandimaisamma. Maybe then he has to go to Balnagar. Okay. Then finally he has to reach to the Amirpet. So let's say he has to visit 5 places. And he has to visit one place at a time and do his work and come back to his place back by the night. If it is a 1 week trip, accordingly he has to plan. So traveling salesperson problem is what? Starting from any vertex, visiting all the vertices exactly once and reaching to the same vertex. So do you have such path or not? So that is the traveling salesperson problem. Okay, maybe you can have many routes. Okay, so many routes are there, but for him, among these five areas, starting from any vertex, visiting all the vertices exactly once, or visiting all the areas, whatever areas he has to cover, all areas exactly once, and reaching to the same vertex. Is it possible or not? So that is called a traveling salesperson problem. So if we have that, then we can call that graph is a Hamiltonian graph. Okay. Now, let me write a traveling salesperson problem. What is that? Starting from any vertex, visiting all the vertices exactly once and reach to the same vertex. Okay, same vertex. This is basically we call as Hamiltonian cycle. Hamiltonian cycle. So basically Hamiltonian cycle means what? We are searching for a cycle in the graph with all the vertices. Okay, telling in other words, a Hamiltonian cycle means we are searching for a cycle. Please recollect what is a cycle. Searching for a cycle with all the vertices of the graph. That's all. So this is called Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, so this is also an important question where they give a question and they'll ask you whether there is a Hamiltonian cycle or not. Now tell me whether this has a Hamiltonian cycle or not. Covering edges, there is no relevance. Okay. Now tell me, yeah, whether this has a Hamiltonian cycle or not. So what do you mean by Hamiltonian cycle in this? That means you start from any vertex, you have to visit all the vertices exactly once and reach to the same vertex. That means, can you find a cycle with all the vertices in the graph? Do you find any such cycle with all the vertices? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you find any cycle? Am I audible? So do you find any cycle in this? Say some answer, yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is that cycle? What is that cycle with all vertices?
Sir, there is no Hamiltonian cycle, sir.
Yeah. Actually, here there is no Hamiltonian cycle in this.
But we can cover all the vertices if we.
Yeah, Hamiltonian cycle. That we can call as Hamiltonian path. But there is a Hamiltonian path. We call that as a Hamiltonian path. Hamiltonian path is something like this. Start from here, visit all these vertices exactly once, and maybe you can stop here at I. So you visited all the vertices exactly once, but you did not reach back to the same, but you reached some other. So this is Hamiltonian path, but there is no Hamiltonian cycle. Okay. So this is about Hamiltonian cycle. Okay. So we'll see the last topic. That is coloring of a graph. Coloring of a graph. So this is also most important question. Like even Euler circuit existence and Hamiltonian cycle existence, all these questions are most frequent asked questions. Okay. Coloring of a graph. So what do you mean by coloring of a graph? So coloring of a graph refers to assigning colors to the vertices such that adjacent vertices should not have the same color. So that is a coloring of a graph. Suppose you take this. Now tell me in how many ways you can color this. So there are many ways to color, but only condition is, suppose if I give color 1 to this, then since this is adjacent to this, I cannot give same color. I must give a different color to this. Okay, C2. Then similarly, since this is adjacent, I cannot give C1. So I can give, so one lazy way of doing coloring is I give one color to this, another fresh color C4 to this, C5 and C6. So obviously this graph is, we say it is 6 colorable, because with the 6 colors, I can color this graph. Naturally, if there are n vertices, obviously it is n colorable, right? But another way of doing is maybe some fellow, instead of using 6 colors, let's say he want to use little less. Okay, so another way of doing is maybe I assign color 1 to this, color 2 to this, color 3 to this, color 4. Then maybe color 1 to this, I can give color 1, right? Maybe this one, and color 5 to this. That means another person has managed with the 5 colors. That means even I can do coloring with the 5 colors also. But maybe we can try with the 4 colors also. Okay, let us try whether is it possible to 4 colors. So color 1 to this, color 2 to this, color 3. Then color 2 can be given here. Okay. Then color 1 can be given here and color 4 can be given here. So even with the 4 colors also, so here I use 6 colors. Here I used 5 colors. Here I used 4 colors. That means coloring means basically you assign colors to the vertices such that adjacent vertices should not have the same color. Okay. But at any time, we always think about what is the minimum number of colors required, right? Now tell me whether is it possible to color the same with 3 colors? Is it possible to color the 3 colors?
Yes.
Color 1 to this, color 2, color 3, Then color 2 can be given to this. Then color 1 can be given to this. Then color 2. Okay. So therefore, even it is 3 colorable. Okay. But what is the minimum number of colors required? Is it possible to color with the 2 colors? Yes or no?
Sir.
With the 2 colors, is it possible?
Yes, sir.
No. The answer is no. So with the 2 colors, it is not possible. Yes, if you want, you can ask like this. Because adjacent color should not have the same color. That is the condition. C1. Then I must use C2. Then here, can I use C1? And can I use C2? No.
No, sir.
I must go for the new color C3. Okay. Why? Because this is basically adjacent to remaining 2. So if you observe carefully, the minimum number of colors are required to color the given graph is what? Is 3. This is technically called as chromatic number. Okay, this is called chromatic number. Chromatic number of a graph. So this is very, very important topic. What is chromatic number of a graph? This is chromatic number. Chromatic number we represent with X or C. Chromatic number. Chromatic number is, it is minimum number of colors required to color a graph. Okay. Now tell me, what is the chromatic number of complete graph Kn? Tell me what is K3 first of all?
Triangle.
What is K3?
3.
3 vertices, right? 3 vertices, vertex is adjacent to each other. And what is the chromatic number of this K3?
3, sir.
And what is chromatic number of K4?
4.
This is K4, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the chromatic number of K4?
4.
4. What is the chromatic number of K5? See, what is complete graph? Each vertex.
5, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, each vertex, if you can recollect them, what is a complete graph, then you can easily understand and tell me. A complete graph means each vertex is adjacent to each other vertex. That means if I give a color to a vertex, the same color obviously I cannot give to any other vertex, right? So if there are n vertices, definitely I need n colors. So chromatic number of K4 is 4, K5 is 5, and in general, chromatic number of Kn is n. I need n colors. Am I right? Now tell me what is the chromatic number of K3, 4? What is 3, 4? First of all, it is a complete bipartite graph, right? K3, 4 is complete bipartite graph. Three vertices in one group and 4 vertices in another group. and this is K34, right? So tell me, what is the chromatic number of K34? How many colors are required? What is the minimum number of
5,
colors?
sir. 5, sir.
No, 5 is the wrong answer. Any other answer, anybody?
4.
4 also wrong. Anybody?
Sir, 2 should be enough, sir.
Yes. To that matter, chromatic number of any complete bipartite graph M comma N, it is 2. Why? Because one color you give to one group, another color you give to another group. Why? Because there will not be any edge within a group. Edges are between the groups, right? So therefore, since you know complete bipartite graph, there are 2 groups of the vertices. So group 1 you give one color and group 2 you give another color. Okay. So any complete bipartite graph Km comma N irrespective of, so these are so many twisting questions you will be getting. What is the chromatic number of K, K41, 1003, something like this. Okay, still it is 2 only. Okay. So some short, very small questions will be given for 10 marks. Find the chromatic number of the following graphs. And they give simple graphs only. Okay. So only thing is that you should understand what is that graph. Okay. Then you can easily answer this. Is it clear what is chromatic number? And one important question like chromatic number. So they may give some specific graphs, something like this. They'll ask you to find out chromatic number of any graph. So they give any graph randomly, then they'll ask to find out chromatic number of that graph. Okay. So let me give one last example for finding a chromatic number of the graph. Or you can try this now. Finding chromatic number of a graph. So this there is a small algorithm given by D.J.A. Welsh and M.B. Powell. Please refer page number 565. Okay. Page number 565, he has given a very simple explanation to find the chromatic number, the procedure to find the chromatic number. I'll explain that, but you listen carefully how to do that. Okay, it is clearly described in the textbook also, all the procedure, but let me explain. It'll take 5 minutes time. I'm able to close. Let's say we want to find out chromatic number of this graph. Okay, so what these two mathematicians are suggested is Welsh and Powell. You don't start randomly with some node. Okay, then you may not get correct chromatic number. Okay, so what they suggested you is you first write the vertices in the decreasing order of their degrees. Tell me what is the, first of all, what are the vertices? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. What is the degree of A? Tell me quickly. What is the degree of A?
4.
4. B,
4.
C,
5.
D,
4.
D is 4. Okay, and E,
5.
E,
6.
1, 2, 3, 6. F, 3. G,
5.
G is 5. And H,
3.
so what this mathematician suggesting, you first write in the decreasing order. So what is the highest highest degree? E,
E.
right? So E degree is 6. Then
C.
C and G, they are having degree 5, right? Right? Of course, you can write G, C, G or GC, no issue. Then there are 3 vertices with degree 4, right? A, B, D. These 3 are with the degree 4. And then there are 2 vertices with the degree 3. So this is step 1. Step 1 is you write the vertices in the decreasing order of their degrees. Then for the highest one, you give first color. That is the only thing they are suggesting. So E is a vertex with the highest degree, right? So you give first color to it. Then you see what are the vertices which are not adjacent to E. Tell me what are the vertices which are not adjacent to E. Fast. What are the vertices which are not adjacent? A is 1, then B is adjacent, C is adjacent, D is adjacent, F is adjacent. Remaining all are adjacent. So therefore, since A is not adjacent, I can give even the same color C1 to A also, right? So therefore, C1 is given to the E and C1 is given to the A also. Fine. Now, next highest degree is 5. So you give next color to the C. So let us give second color, that is C2. Listen carefully. Okay. Now you see what are the vertices which are not adjacent to C. Can you quickly tell me what are the vertices not adjacent to C?
D, W.
Yeah, D is not adjacent. Then
GW.
huh?
GW.
This is not W. This is H. Okay. D is not adjacent. Then
H.
H. Okay. So listen carefully here. So I can give C2 even to D also. Please make a note. Even this D and H also not adjacent. Luckily, if D and H are adjacent, then we cannot give C2 to it, right? So therefore, in this case, even C2 I can give second color. I can give to H also. Observe carefully. C2 I am giving to C vertex C. Since C and D are not adjacent, I can give color 2 to D also. And H is not adjacent to D as well as C. So therefore, I can give even same color 2 to H also. Okay. So C2 color 2 is given to the C. It is given to the D, and it is given to the H also. Then what is the next highest degree? G. So G, obviously you give next color C3, color 3. So color 3 I am assigning to this. Then you see remaining vertices are B and F. See whether B and F are adjacent to this or not. B. G is adjacent to B or not?
No,
G
sir.
and no. And similarly, G and F are not adjacent.
No,
No.
sir.
B and F are not adjacent. So therefore, the same C3, color 3, I can give to B, I can give to F also. So nothing great in this. Only suggested is you put in the decreasing order of their degrees, then gradually, carefully you apply the colors. And please ensure at any stage adjacent vertices should not have the same color. Okay. So therefore, what is the chromatic number of this graph? How many colors? Minimum colors required?
3.
So this is a procedure to find the chromatic number. Okay. So I think I covered all aspects of Unit 5. I 100% guarantee from my heart, I did not left a single topic from the Unit 5. Only thing is that you have to practice a little bit. I'll tell Jitu to give at least, I'll prepare some questions, important pattern questions from the Unit 5. Okay. You please practice at least two questions from each pattern. I'll release you. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll release you. Practice. If you cannot solve, definitely I'll solve and I'll give solution to you. You can practice it. Okay. So with that, I think I completed my responsibility of completing the syllabus discrete mathematical structures. Okay. Thank you all for patience listening. Any doubt? Anybody, any doubt? Okay, if there is no doubt, we'll leave. Maybe I'll release assignment